Hi everyone. So we're going to start talking about functions and writing our own functions. Basically, a function is a piece of code that does something. That's like the simplest definition I can give you. And basically, main is a function. Main has been with us the whole time, and this is an example of a function. Main is a special function, though, because it kind of has the master control of your entire program. And up until now, all of the code that we've typed, most of it at least, except for like the library checkout stuff, has been contained inside of main. But now we're at the point where we can use functions to break up our programs into smaller sections. So main is still going to be here. We'll have that main function, but then we can add smaller functions outside of main and these functions do their own specific thing, whatever we code them to do. And so this will make our programs more modular and easier to manage. I mean, like in this class, it's not going to make a huge difference because our programs are so short anyway. But in reality, programs can get very large. They can get up to millions of lines of code. And it's really like, and not just one person is coding them. The teams of people are coding different parts of the program, and then all the parts are brought together in the end, to create the software. So programs, real world programs are modular in design, and functions are really the first step in taking a more modular approach, and that's what we're doing here. So just going to do a super basic function in this program to print a smiley face, okay? And I'm going to show you a 3-step process that I want you to use when you're doing your first few functions. There's variations here, but we'll save those for later. Let's just get the 1, 2, 3 approach down, and then we'll look at variations on that in later videos. So basically, you're going to start at the very top, and you're going to start with what I call step 1, which is we're going to write a function prototype. This is also called a function declaration. This is basically just a one-liner that lets the compiler know that you're going to use a function in your program. And it just has kind of this bare minimum of information about the function. So what we're going to do, I'm going to write a prototype for my smiley face function. So I'm going to start with the keyword void. This is called the return type of the function. We're not going there yet. So for now, just take it on faith that you're just going to type the word void, and we'll address this in later videos. I don't want to focus on that right now. And then I'm going to type the name of my function. Now I choose the name of my function. And it's like choosing a variable name. You want it to be descriptive. You want somebody to be able to look at that name and see exactly what the function does, exactly what it's for. So I'm going to call my function print smiley. Okay. And then I have to include parentheses. Now I'm not using these. In later videos, we're going to see exactly what these are for. Okay. So, and like with main, we've been just typing the syntax for, most of the semester now. And finally, you're going to know what this is for, this int and these parentheses. But okay, we'll get there later in later videos. So this is the function prototype. It ends with a semicolon here. And there's not much here, but it just lets the compiler know that we're using a function in this program. And it's called print smiley. So now, moving on to step 2. Before I do step 2, I'm going to copy my prototype, but not the semicolon. This is important. Copy your prototype, but not the semicolon. I'm going to copy that. And then we're going to move down here to step 2. Okay, let me paste that in first. All right. Now, step 2, I'm down below main. And we're going to write the function definition. The function definition is the function. I said a function is a piece of code that does something. This is the code that does what the function is supposed to do. So this is, I'm going to write the code to print the smiley face. Okay, we'll do a yellow smiley face. You know what, I should have mentioned, here, let me just, this is not really that important, but I did, up at the top here, paste in some color definitions. That's not pertinent to the, the discussion on functions, but it's just so I can do a yellow smiley face or, do a little bit of color. Okay, so those are up there. So I can easily say bold yellow, and then this is the Unicode sequence to print the smiley face. Again, that's not important here. Okay, so what I have here is a function definition. This is really like the nuts and bolts of the function. It's the code that does what we said the function is going to do. You define that function. Okay, so that was step 2. So really the function is in place, and there's only one thing left to do, which is to call the function. Okay. We're going to call the function. And when you call a function, you basically call the function by name, and you're saying, hey, you, run your code. Hey, you, print that smiley face. So you call the function like this. Now, main calls the function. Main is like it's the main function of your program. This is like if you imagine an orchestra with the various sections. You have the string section and the percussion section. And then you have the conductor, and the conductor tells which section to, play music, and, then it moves control over to another section, and it all comes together in this orchestrated, coordinated performance. So that's kind of like what goes on in a program. Main is like the conductor of the orchestra. And so here, it's taking its conductor's stick or wand or whatever that thing is called and saying, hey, you print smiley, you're on. Go ahead and run your code, execute, and the smiley face is printed, and then control of the program returns back to main. Okay, and the rest of the code inside main is executed. So let's run that and make sure we can see our smiley face, and there it is. All right, so in the next video, we'll just do a couple more functions in the same program.